Okay, so lesson 22-1, cofunction identities. So today we're going to use the unit circle to create more identities based off cosine and sine. So that's exactly what that says. Okay, so first part, we'll see we have cosine, point P is in the first quadrant. We can all see that. And then what it wants us to do is to draw another angle. It says on the unit circle, draw negative theta. Well, we know negative theta just means it goes clockwise. So negative theta would be the same angle measure down here. So this would be negative theta. Should have put negative theta, sorry. So negative theta, because we're going this direction, right? Okay, so point P now would be what? Cosine theta, comma, negative sine theta. Which you guys all know that, like x, y, right? Okay. Then it says find sine of negative theta. Well, sine would be negative sine, right? Cosine of negative theta would be just cosine. Okay, so let's think about this. If sine of negative theta equals negative sine theta, do you guys recall that would be an odd function? Because remember, it was f of negative x equals negative f of x. And then if cosine of negative equals cosine theta, that was an even function, because that would be f of negative x equals f of x. Just some good insight there for you. Okay, let's keep it moving. All right, then the next page. Okay, now we're going to add 180. Now draw angles, let me move it down, 180 plus theta and 180 minus theta. Okay, so 180 plus theta. So if we do 180 plus theta, so it'd be, so like this, watch, hopefully you're watching. So you go 180, there's 180, right? And then plus theta. So it'd be like down here. So this is theta off of 180. So down here, this would be 180 and then plus theta. Well, what would P be? P would be, let's put it over here. P would be negative cosine and negative sine, because you're in the third quadrant, right? That's that one. Okay. Then while we're at it, let's do 180 minus theta. Okay, I'll use a different color. So 180, we all know like 180. So track theta, you're going to be back this way, right? Because this would be theta. So it's kind of like you're going 180, but then subtract and go back. Hopefully that makes sense. So this would be 180 minus theta. And so then what point would that be? That would be the point P, which would be, we all know, is negative cosine, positive sine. Oh, my pen's running out. Okay. Okay, hopefully you can see that. All right, so let's answer a few questions. So sine of 180 plus theta, which is down here, would be negative sine, right? And then cosine would be negative cosine. I'll go fast because you can always rewind the video. So tangent, two negatives make a positive. Sine of 180 minus theta, I'm just filling it in, would be positive sine. Cosine is what? Negative. So all I'm doing is reading the ordered pairs. That's how I'm getting it so fast. And then tangent is a positive and negative, so it'd be negative tangent. Okay, now it wants to do 360. So 360 plus or minus theta. So 360 would be what? Well, you would go around, there's 360 plus theta. So this is the point, they already marked it for us. This is 360 plus theta, or you could call it what? 2 pi plus theta, right? Same thing. Okay, now let's do the other one. Let me try. So this one would go around and then minus theta. So that would be here. This would be minus theta. So this would be 360 minus theta, or 2 pi minus theta, right? Same thing. Okay, so this will be the point, what? Cosine, well, we all know. Cosine theta, comma, negative sine theta. So kind of the same thing. So all we're doing now, I'm just going to fill it out really fast because you can go back to the video and figure this out. So all I'm doing now is just labeling the point. 360 plus theta, like what is cosine and sine? And then just labeling these ordered pairs for here. That's all it is. So sine of 360, it will be sine theta. This would be cosine theta. Two positives make a positive, tangent theta. Then the other one would be negative sine theta, cosine theta, and then negative tangent, because a positive, negative make a negative. Okay, so that's that. Then it says, explain how a graphing calculator can help you to check your answers. Okay, so we've done this before. You can graph, we've mentioned this before. You can graph each side of the identity and we'll give you the same graph. Remember we talked about this before, like y1, put the left side, y2, put the right side, and then you'll get the same graph. That's what that's talking about. Okay, then it says express items in 2 and 3 using radians. So I've already kind of done that already. So I'll just get you started. Like sine of pi plus theta, which is 180, right? Equals negative sine. So all we're doing here is converting all the 180s and 360s to pi and 2 pi. That's all this is. So I don't think I'm going to keep going because I think you guys can do that, right? Like cosine pi plus theta equals negative cosine. So I'm not going to bore you with that because all this question is asking that is that you turn 360 into 2 pi. So it's all the same things, but now it's in radian forms. So this is degree form, and then hopefully you can convert 180 as pi, right? And then 360 is 2 pi. Okay. Then on the next page, what we're doing is they're saying, okay, if cosine theta equals A and sine theta equals B, complete statement using A and or B with the correct sign. So basically sine of negative theta. So if sine theta equals B, what is sine of negative theta? So what was that? Sine of negative theta was negative sine theta. So it's just more details. They're just having you just keep reminding yourselves, what is sine of negative theta? Well, sine of negative theta is negative sine theta. So just more identities we need to learn. And this is how we're getting them. So basically what we're doing is using the unit circle to create more identities. So that's what this is just doing. So sine of negative theta, well, if it equals sine equals b, then this would be negative b. We'll just do a few more. Sine of 360 minus theta, what was sine of 360 minus theta? Sine of 360 minus theta was negative sine. So that would be also negative b. Cosine of 180 minus theta. Cosine of 180 minus theta was negative cosine. So if cosine equaled A, it was negative A. So that's the pattern. So I'll give you the answers for these, and you can go on your own and check them out. Okay, that one's done. Okay, then this is review. Use x in terms of y. We've done this a lot, so I'm going to fill this out really fast. Y over r. So 90 minus theta would still be y over r. Cosine is x over r. And 90 minus theta would still be x over r. Okay. Sine, because here, so here's sine theta. Sine theta is, this is y, right? Hopefully we know this is y. They didn't mark it for us. This is y. So sine is y over r, opposite of our hypotenuse. Cosine, here's cosine of 90 minus r. Its complement is cosine is also y over r. So the ratio of sine of one angle is equal to the cosine of the complement angle. That's what we're saying right there. And that's what this is. Sine of an angle, this is important to know, is equal to the complement. Oh, let me check that. Equal to the cosine, that sounds better, to the cosine of its complement. There we go. Okay, so sine of an angle is equal to the cosine of its complement, and that's what this right here is illustrating. So I'm going to do this for you. We'll emphasize it a little bit. highlight, bubble, circle, whatever you do in your notes. Okay. The statement you wrote in item 8 is called the cofunction identity. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. All right. Cofunction identities exist for other pairs of trig functions. List these identities below. Okay, we'll do some. So sine theta equals cosine of 90 minus theta. There's one. Or you could say cosine theta equals the sine of 90 minus theta. Those are cofunction. We can do a bunch. We could say tangent theta equals cotangent of 90 minus theta. I'll just list a bunch out. Cotangent theta equals tangent of 90 minus theta. So these are some examples of cofunction identities. All right, last part. Given cosine equals 2 over 3, what is the value of each function? Let's see. Actually, yeah. So pi halves theta, it'd be the same, right? So it'd be 2/3. So you just go look at your identities. What is cosine of pi plus theta? Well, cosine of pi plus theta is negative. See, cosine of pi plus theta is negative b. So cosine of pi plus theta would be negative 2/3. Sine of negative theta, sine of negative theta is also negative b. So would that one be 2/3? We have to find the sine. So here, we gotta draw it out. So theta, this is cosine, so adjacent over hypotenuse. So 9 minus something. So 2 squared plus something equals 9. So 4 plus 5 is 9. So b squared of 5. Okay. So then we already know sine of negative theta is negative b. So it's a negative sign. So opposite over hypotenuse. Negative. Cosine pi 6 equals a half. So you can use your unit circle if you want. So pi 6 is a half is sine. So what's cosine of pi thirds? That's also a half. So you can use the unit circle here. That's where I'm getting my answers from. Sine of 13 pi 6 would also be 1/2. Cosecant of pi 6 is what? 1 over sine. Isn't that 1 over sine? So 1 over 1/2, so 2. Sine of 63 degrees. Okay, so now we want to use cosine 27 would be its complement. So that would be the same thing. So if sine of 63 equals x, so some unknown value, so the sine of one angle equals the cosine of the complement of the other, so it also equals x. That goes back to the identity or that one that I highlighted above. So these are identities. Like use the identities. Sine of negative, or cosine of negative 27. So what quadrant are we in? We're in quadrant 4, right? So cosine of negative theta, if you want to go back, it's a what? It's an even function. So cosine of negative theta equals cosine. So it's an even function, so it's going to be a positive x still. So same thing. And then sine of 243 would be, where would sine of 243 be? That would be quadrant 4 as well. So it would be what? No, quadrant 3 actually. Quadrant sine of 243. Oh, quadrant 3, because that would be what? 180, 270, so 243. So that would be what? 27. So it would be sine of 243. So that would be down here, which would be the what do you call it? This would be 63. So the sine of 63, so that would be complement would be 27. So it'd be negative x. Yeah. All right. So you would use your identities. All right. I think that's all I got. And the assignment, I think I already sent it. So I will go over questions. Like send me your questions and we'll go over this I'll send another video tomorrow because tomorrow's the PSAT, so I won't see you. So we can do another video tomorrow with questions. Like send me your questions and then I can make another video over the homework or something. Okay, thanks.